Hey, what's up? John Sonmez here. So, I want to talk to you guys today about something I call the click factor. This is something that I've talked about a few times probably on this channel in reference to programming. I've told you guys that if you're trying to be a software developer, if you're trying to learn programming, that eventually what will happen is that things will just click, right? That you gotta go through it, go through the process so many times, and then eventually what's going to happen is that you're going to go through this period of I don't get it, it feels like I just am not making progress, and then all of a sudden click, and what happens is all of a sudden you get it and it seems to make sense, and then you go from from this kind of stage to here really quickly, and it happens, it seems like almost overnight. So I had one of those experiences today. I thought I'd share that with you. I started taking this Muay Thai class, which is really cool. It's really good. I've done a lot of martial arts in my past. I hadn't done any kind of fighting or martial arts for a while, so I enrolled in this about 3 months ago now. And I was in class today, and when I was struggling really, like I guess it's been about 3 months, like I said, and I was struggling for a lot of the time in the class, right? I was struggling to get these kicks. I'd done Taekwondo, I'd done Okinawa Kempo and some Jiu-Jitsu and a few other martial arts, and in a lot of those martial arts you've got basically like a roundhouse, where you're throwing a kick and you're snapping. I'm pretty decent with the snap, and I could do pretty fancy stuff, some high roundhouses and whatnot. But with the Muay Thai, what you're doing is you're sort of like, it's almost like you're it's the twist and then like a push off, like you're hitting with your shin. So it's a totally different type of a kick. And just everything is very different. I'm used to a horse stance where you've got this stance like this, maybe in Taekwondo, and in Muay Thai you're standing up nice and tall with a very short stance, and you're upright, right? You're not crouched down at all. And so all this stuff is very different, right? And so I was having a hard time for about 3 months, last 3 months. I think it's been about 3 months, maybe it's been 2, but anyway, I've been having a hard time, and it just wasn't connecting, it just wasn't clicking. It was like, trying to remember to keep my hands up. I've talked about this before, but everything just felt very awkward, and I just felt like I was not making progress. And I'm trusting the process, right? You can check out the Trust the Process playlist here, but I'm trusting the process, and I'm figuring that it's eventually going to come together, right? Because I know about this click thing. And today was the day, right? I got into class, and we're doing some drills, and all of a sudden, the jump roping is, right? I'm doing, double jumps, and I'm jumping roping backwards, right? I'm doing all kinds of stuff that I couldn't do before, right? Where I sucked at jump roping when I first got into class. And then we're doing some of the calisthenics, and I can just, I'm just breezing through that. And then we get into the class part where we're doing some shadow boxing, and I'm feeling like that's going good. And then finally we get and we do some drills. We do this, like I think it's like a 1, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, and then a kick, and it just, bam, I was just on. All of a sudden it just came together. I was going fast, I was moving, it was just fluid, and it finally, like, all I can describe it is that click. And so it's interesting, I've found in a lot of things in life, you just have to keep at it long enough. That's why I always tell you guys about trusting the process. I wish I had my Trust the Process shirt on, but you can get one here. But essentially, the idea is that, like, you just have to remember that it's going to click eventually. Like, you can't repeat the same thing over and over. You can't keep on learning. You can't keep on training without something eventually clicking, as long as you keep on putting the effort and you just trust that process. But so many people, right? So many times they give up. They give up too early. They give up before they've actually spent enough time for that click to happen. And sometimes that click is really close, right? If I would have given up last week and said, oh, you know what, in fact, right about that time, right? In fact, last week I was like, oh, I'm starting to wonder. I'm not so sure about this Muay Thai. I feel like I'm not making progress. I don't know, this isn't that fun anymore. And then, today, it was super fun, right? It was like the best session I had in a long time because it did click, right? So when you're getting close, sometimes you're going to get discouraged. You're going to feel like it's not happening, you're not learning, right? Whatever it is, like I said, I know a lot of you are still programmers on this channel, and if you're trying to learn, right, you're gonna have that frustration. It's gonna not make sense. Like, none of this shit is gonna make sense. Like, I read the book, I did the tutorials, I just don't get this. I don't get how this works and how this goes together. But then all of a sudden, it's just going to click one day. But it's only going to happen if you keep going. You have to keep pushing. You have to keep on pushing forward, right? You know, a lot of you guys, right? If maybe you're trying to learn some pickup, you're trying to learn some of those social skills, right? Some of the social dynamics type of stuff. The same thing is going to happen. I'm telling you, like, you're going to go and you're going to open all these girls, you're going to be talking to them, and it's just not going to click. Or you're not even going to be able to do it at first, but then you're going to force yourself, and you're going to go through the process. You're going to go through the process, and then all of a sudden, it's going to be like second nature. You're not going to wonder what to say. You're just going to say whatever you feel like. You're going to be all of a sudden in that zone. It's going to click, right? But what is the one factor? Well, there's two factors. What is the main factor involved in having something click? Practice, practice, practice. Going over it over again and again and again, right? Just committing to enough practice. Now, what's the second factor? It's trusting the process. It's straight and simple, trusting the process. You just have to trust that your brain is a highly evolved organ. It's the most complicated machine on Earth, right? That exists in the universe as we know it. Think about that. That's what's in your fucking head, okay? So, if you trust that, and you trust that you can't help but learn, then you can trust that you're eventually going to hit that clicking point. But if you can't trust that, if you give up too early, if you're like, oh, squirrel, and you just get distracted, or you get discouraged, or you don't believe. If you don't believe, what will happen? You'll waste a whole lot of fucking time in your life, right? Because, you know, think about it. Like, think about in my situation. Maybe I go to this Muay Thai class. Maybe I go for 2 months or 3 months. It hasn't clicked yet, right? And so it never clicks, and I just give up because I'm like, hey, you know what, fuck this. I don't need this. I used to be good. Like, I don't need to go somewhere where I'm not good. I'm going to go do something I'm good at. This is bullshit. I'm not learning this, right? And then I quit. Now I've wasted 2-3 months of my life, all this time training, right? And I never got the benefit. But if I make it long enough for it to click, right, then I get that benefit. Then all of a sudden, I'm at least some level of proficient, right? Don't pick up the fucking guitar unless you're going to go at it long enough for it to click. Don't, you know, whatever it is that you're going to start doing, don't do it with the idea that I'm just going to try this out and see how it goes. Imagine, know up front, know ahead of time when you start something that you've got a long road, that it's going to be hard, that you're going to feel like you're making zero progress, and then all of a sudden things are going to click. And that's gonna, and you know, there's a psychological or a mental, you know, model for how this is happening in your brain, right? I mean, there's a really good book. What was it? I did a review on this. It's called, what is it called? It's called The Brain. What is it? Something about your brain. The same guy that did the book, the Breaking the Power of, what the heck? Breaking the Habit of Being Yourself. Okay. So anyway. The point is this, what's actually happening is that your brain is hardwiring things, right? It's going from a conscious thing to the sort of unconscious where it's happening automatically, right? Actions that you do a lot eventually get wired and then they become automatic, just like driving a car, just like running, riding a bike. All of those things become automatic. So there's an actual process that's happening behind this, okay? But you got to trust it. And if you don't trust it, you're never going to hit the click. All right, that's all I got for you today. If you haven't clicked that subscribe button below, make sure you click that click and click the bell so you don't miss any videos. I'll talk to you next time. Take care.